What's that? Yes, sir.
Very quick decision.
Everyone ready? Would like to call to order the business meeting of the Lewis County Commissioners of April 16, 2018. There is a quorum with 3 commissioners present. Bob Gunther, would you like to lead us in the flag salute?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comment? We have no public comment. Thank you. So we'll now move on to the presentations.
Okay, I make a motion to approve a presentations and also proclamation.
Second.
Second. Okay, the first presentation, we are talking about what we did this morning and talking about what we're going to be doing next Monday morning. We had a poster contest that Melanie Case helped us work out for Earth Days, and we received probably 100 posters that kids, kindergarten through 3rd grade, submitted, and we will be notifying those children to come in here on Monday, next Monday, to receive their awards. But we were very happy. It was very difficult in making the selections. And some of them were like, no, what was this child trying to tell us? And it was pretty interesting how some of those thoughts really they put on paper. All right, employee recognition. Yeah. We would like to recognize individuals who have reached 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years of service to Lewis County. We'll start with 5 years. Paula Wiley from Superior Court and Timothy Fife from Public Works. Please come on up. Congratulations. We'll get a certificate, and then we have the ceremonial picture.
Thank you.
Okay, Dave, over here. Make sure your certificate's right side up. Thank you. Yes. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Now we're moving to 10 years. Smokey Paget and Brett Graham. Come on up.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Brett, congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks again. Thanks again. Thank you. Moving to 15 years, Dan LaFrance from Solid Waste. Congratulations,
Congratulations,
Dan. Yes. There we go. Thank you. Thanks again, Dan. Thank you. Moving to 20 years, Dusty Breen and Robert Morehouse. Congratulations.
Robert, congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you. Dusty.
Thank you, sir.
Put the wrong pin on here, so we'll get the right pin.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Let's move down a little bit. You're in the middle. Yes. And thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again. Yes. 30 years. Sherry Gunther. Woo-hoo, Sherry! And she doesn't look a day over 30, so that's true. That's true. You get to hold it. Just. Okay. Thank you. We would like Lori Pulver to come up. Lori. Above and beyond. Let's talk about Lori. The nomination was submitted by Kayla Reynolds. Yes, come sit with him. She is an exceptional example of an employee who goes above and beyond her job duties. Over the past several months, Lori has been heavily involved in the implementation of the county's new finance system. And you had a lot of responsibilities outside of your regular job. And they say, although you spend many hours a week in these trainings, you still accomplish all your regular job duties. She has multiple accounts payable vouchers every week, and they're always turned on time. So Lori, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Again. The next two are Bill Garrison and Jeff Sanford, Central Shop Public Works, nominated by Tim Murphy. Congratulations. Okay. Let's talk about them for a while. Bill and Jeff have 22 years combined service. And they do things behind the scenes no one else knows that they've been doing. But on the week of February 20th to the 23rd, Bill and Jeff were the only two mechanics at the central shop as the rest of the crew was away. As luck would have it, this was the biggest snow of the season. These two stepped up and were able to keep all the snow removal equipment up and operational for the road crew to do their job. This included working extra hours to get repairs made. Because of their efforts, working extra hours, making repairs, Lewis County Public Works was able to keep the people who use the roadways safe from the disaster in which snow and ice brings. Very good. Thank you. Move down there. We're going to take a picture. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'd like Lauren Buckman from Solid Waste and Smokey Padgett, Public Health and Social Services. Come on up. A nomination was received for these two from Steve Skinner of Solid Waste as well as Jack White. Come on up.
I'm not area one.
This is a long one, but it took a long time to get to this point where we could do some cleanup in our area. This February, the BOCC agreed to use nuisance abatement funds to perform a cleanup effort on a county-owned property on Reynolds Road. How many of you had seen that property on Reynolds Road? We all know that needed to be cleaned up. Both Smokey Padgett and Lauren Buckman were true heroes for agreeing to step forward and ensure the success of this project. These two graciously volunteered to work on this project and completed it on time and under budget. Lauren has previous experience in the solid waste division of Public Works and is a superb excavator operator. These skills allowed him to separate 35 tons of steel and lots of cardboard from the other refuse on the site. These materials were then sold to a recycler and produced $3,000 in revenue while saving $3,200 on disposal fees. He worked quickly and efficiently, piling the refuse and loading trucks, completing the work much faster than anticipated. Now, Smokey has been working on abatement for this site for several years, and handled all of the coordination of the cleanup efforts on this site, including demolition permits, asbestos abatement, soils testing, and material hauling. Smokey's knowledge of Hulk vehicles helped dispose of many cars, and his background in law enforcement helped him keep the site secure and safe, handling many curious visitors as the work progressed. I think you had a lot of folks driving by wanting to see what was going on. To see this site today, you could never imagine just how bad it was. The project removed 85 vehicles, 6,900 pounds of scrap metal, 6 garbage piles totaling over 800 tons, 7 loads of old tires, and lots of broken glass. Thanks to Smokey and Lauren, this was a hugely successful effort between health, solid waste, roads, and the BOCC, leaving a clean, safe, and now usable asset for Lewis County. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now, we shouldn't have let those two sit down because we're moving to employees of the first quarter. So will Lauren Buckman and Smokey Paget come on up? Thank you, gentlemen, for all that you've done. This is a pretty amazing feat that you did. Employee of the quarter.
Oh.
Employees.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Here's the mess.
Where are they going? Hey, is it just us or what?
Melanie, you might as well get ready. We won't start speaking till they're out of the room. Thank you again, everyone. Oh. Okay.
Hi, I'm Melanie Case. I'm the Recycling Program Coordinator for Lewis County Department of Public Works Solid Waste Utility. And I think it's such an appropriate day to recognize our fellow employees who cleaned up the BOCC property, because we have so many dedicated Lewis County employees who care about the environment and the earth, and not only our employees, but also the LeMay garbage drivers and recycle truck drivers who really all work together to make Lewis County green and clean and a spotlight for the environment. So I'm here today to read our proclamation for Earth Day, because this is Earth Week and Earth Day is actually on April 22nd, but we're doing a lot of activities this week. So in the matter of proclaiming April 16th through the 22nd, 2018 as Earth Week. Whereas the first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, with the goal of inspiring environmental awareness and encouraging conservation, protection, appreciation of our nation's natural resources. And whereas it is the responsibility of each of us to safeguard the environment by recognizing that all human life depends on the earth and upon one another for our mutual existence, well-being, and development. And whereas the steps we can take to protect and preserve our natural environment through education, partnerships, and positive actions should be encouraged in Lewis County. And whereas the citizens of Lewis County are committed not only to the protection and preservation of our environment, but also to the restoration and ecosystems and habitat. And whereas Lewis County citizens, staff, and elected officials are working closely with federal, state, and local governments, Centralia College, schools, and with non-government organizations to develop and implement programs specifically designed to preserve and improve Lewis County's fragile ecosystem and the quality of life therein. And whereas the Lewis County Solid Waste Utility has joined forces with Centralia College to host an Earth Day celebration from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. April 20th at Centralia College, and an additional special recycling event during Earth Week, which is styrofoam recycling at the Central Transfer Station from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on April 21st. And whereas Lewis County recognizes all who participate in Earth Day for their dedication to taking a proactive role in shaping the future of our environment and in protecting Lewis County's precious natural resources. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 16th through 22nd, 2018 as Earth Week in Lewis County, and urge all citizens to be mindful of local, state, and national laws which protect our environment, and to join in efforts to preserve the beauty and wonder of the lands, skies, and water of the earth in all its diversity. Done in open session the 16th of April, 2018.
Well, Melanie, how many years have you been working on this Earth Day? How many?
Well, so I've been at the county a little over 20 years, and I must say that there were boards of county commissioners that weren't as positive toward the environment. So, but I would say we've probably been celebrating Earth Month, Earth Week, Earth Day a good 20 years in Lewis County. So if you don't mind, I do have a little bag of tricks that I just want to do a little show and tell. Well, first, we have the poster for the Centralia College Earth Day celebration, and I wanted to focus on a few things because we're not only doing events on Friday. Let's see, they're doing there's a straw out called, a film out called Straws, and it's focusing on the amount of straws being used nationwide. It's just mind-boggling. Commissioner Stamper, our solid waste manager, Steve Skinner, and I went out to talk to a group of fifth graders at White Pass Elementary. On Friday, it was teacher Amelia Donahay's fifth grade class, and they had written the commissioners about whether straws should be banned or not banned because the city of Seattle's banning them as of July 1st. So I want to talk to them about plastic pollution. And every day in the US, Americans use 500 million straws in just one day. That's crazy. And I think it's just because we have such a busy life now and everyone's on the go, and if you get a to-go drink, it's always got a straw in it. And so in Lewis County, we have a population now of 77,440 people. So just for Lewis County citizens, which they say the average straw use is about 1.6 straws per person, that's what it averages out to. That's 123,904 straws each day just for Lewis County, and we're not even that big. So when we were talking to the students, we talked about some of the issues with straws, and not that we would be for a ban on straws in Lewis County, but just we recommend that people just have their own personal initiative and refuse straws or use reusable ones. Or in my show and tell, I brought other things that we could really cut down on the amount of waste. Instead of always getting a to-go coffee cup, always remember to bring your reusable one. So our local recycler, LeMay, sponsored these. We're giving these out at Earth Day if you come over at the college. And our metal recycler, who's next door to the transfer station in Centralia, he donated these stainless steel water bottles. So that's one of the prizes at Earth Day. So if just on our own, everyone says no to just getting the throwaway ones of those and do reusable, that'll cut down on a lot of waste. And pack your lunch in a reusable lunch bag. And when you're shopping, use a reusable bag. Or this bag is made by a local crafter, Penny Ald, out in Adna. She weaves plastic grocery bags into these bags. And plastic bags are the #1 contaminant in our commingled recycling. So I would encourage people to always use their reusable bags, or if you must get a plastic grocery sack, you know, think of other uses for it. Pick up your dog waste with it and then throw it in the garbage, or maybe line your bathroom liner with it. So we're not just throwing all those plastic bags, one, in the garbage where they'll just sit in a landfill forever, and certainly don't put them in your commingled recycling, because we want to keep our recycling as clean as we can, because if there's too much garbage in it, then our whole loads of recycling get thrown in the trash. And so just personally, I'm wearing our Earth Day shirt from last year, and then my scarf is made out of 2 500 milliliter plastic pop bottles. So in our individual lives, we can think of things that are made out of reusable or recyclable materials and purchase them to help support the process.
I know we have in the courthouse a place where people can bring in their plastic bags, and I received about 5 bags from Mossy Rock the other day to bring in to put into that receptacle.
Yes, so the plastic bags we collect here at the transfer station, or here in the courthouse. There's a couple groups of very crafty people who come to my office and pick up the big bags of them, and then they crochet them into sleeping mats for the homeless people. So they're very, very creative that way. So do you have any other questions?
I would just like to thank you and Steve for making the trek up to White Pass there, elementary. The kids really did a good job. They asked a lot of good questions, and I think, I personally, I know that we were talking about straws. First off, I didn't realize they made that many straws. How many have 6 different straws? So there's all kinds of you can use. I personally don't use a straw, so try not to. And again, it does make you, my little pet peeve, I think, more than anything else, are the plastic bags. Because, you're driving down the road, you see them flying all over, in your grill, over the top, and it would be nice to be able to figure out another solution for that. But again, I think that it does make everyone very much aware of it. And I years ago when I used to go hunting a lot with my dad out in the hills, when you could go through when the Weyerhaeuser land and the Rainier land were all open, I know that he was very conscientious. Whenever there was garbage, he would pick it up and bring it back. Now, I know a lot of people do that. Unfortunately, that's probably why Weyerhaeuser closed their gates, is because there was not enough people doing that. And I remember the first refrigerator I saw out in the middle of Weyerhaeuser property. I'm going, that's not a good thing. So unfortunately, that's the way of the world, and hopefully that we can change it bit by bit and do our part. So again, I'd like to thank you and Steve for going up there, and I know Eric, I approached Eric about it, and he made it happen. So good for you guys. It's very much appreciated.
And the 5th graders, they were just so well versed in all of the things about landfills and plastic bags and plastic straws. They stumped us. So I told them this week I'd be researching a couple of their questions and getting back to them, because I didn't have the answers off the top of my head. Yeah,
it was very humbling, because they, and I think that I do a pretty good job, but boy, they made me feel bad on some of the things they're doing. So good for them, though. And good for you guys. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. It's been moved and seconded to approve the presentations. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Move to approve the consent items, which is the approval of minutes from April 9th, 2018, as well as Resolution 18-129, the approval of warrants.
Second.
Good morning, Commissioner. Suzette Smith, Chief Accountant, Auditor's Office, here to present to you Resolution number 18-129. This is the weekly approval of the warrants issued by the county. Last week, we issued 209 regular warrants, number 788712 through 788846, 788861 through 788870, and 788900 through 788963, for a total of $943,590.02. We note the following warrants that were issued on behalf of our special purpose districts. Their commissions approved these warrants. They were numbers 788847 through 788860 and 788871 through 788899. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Suzette.
Yes. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent items, approval of minutes of April 9th, 2018, and Resolution 18-129 regarding claims and warrants. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Wool, Director of Information.
Need a motion?
I apologize. How'd I go?
I make a motion to approve 2, 4, 6, 7 deliberation items starting with Resolution 18-130 through 18-136.
Second.
Mr. Wold.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Wold, Director of Information Technology Services, here this morning speaking to Resolutions 18-130 and 18-131. The BOCC has granted authority to department directors by resolution to bind the county in amounts up to $40,000. Both these resolutions, 18-130 and 18-131, exceed this allowed amount, which brings me before you this morning. 18-130 authorizes me to complete our large bulk order of replacement PCs, which we tend to do every couple years. It saves us an additional about 30%, and this purchase will be through a state contract with Dell Inc. Any questions on that one? All right. 18-131 authorizes the renewal of our annual software maintenance agreement with Microsoft Corporation, and this purchase is also through an approved vendor through the State of Washington Department of Enterprise Services contract. Any questions on that one? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Commissioner Stamper, do you want to talk about the next one and have Matt Matioshi come up?
Yeah. Well, I'll let Matt talk about it.
Okay.
Morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Matt Matioshi. I'm with the Economic Development Council. We have in front of you this morning two applications from our organization, .09 applications for economic development. The first is the Packwood Sewer Project. This is a project that's been attempted, I guess, several times. So this will be the fourth effort to do this. What's different about this effort is that we're looking at studying the commercial corridor of Packwood and building a project that would consider commercial connections for sewer and not looking beyond that to residential, looking to solve a problem so that businesses can continue to operate. And then in one case, a business that was shuttered many years ago could reopen potentially as a restaurant. So that's a issue that a gap, I guess, that our organization sees in working with the Packwood community. And we'd like to fill that need by moving forward with a sewer study. The second application we have in front of you is the EDC operations funding request for $165,000 annually for a 2-year contract for a total of $330,000. Our organization, as you know, works to recruit industry and also to retain existing business and industry in our community. There are several ways that we do that. We operate a marketing program where we have a consultant that travels the country and generates business leads for us by attending various events. We also work closely with the state of Washington. We are the designated ADO, Associate Development Organization, and we receive leads from the state of Washington, of which 2 weeks ago we had a company visit the industrial park at TransAlta, and that's pretty typical. We probably have visits out there about 3 to 4 times a year. We're preparing for another visit next month, forest products related company. And so that's the type of work that we do. And like I said, with the Packwood project, we also get into community building, community development projects that will lead to economic development this last year, including streetscapes planning for both Packwood and for Toledo.
Matt, how much did you say in your leading amounts? We have in our resolution 160,000. Did you? Is yours a different number? Application
was for 165,000, I believe.
Well, we'll have to look in. We have 160 in our resolution and 165. So
we can go with that.
You'll take that? Okay. All right.
Thank you, Matt.
We'll leave it in. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Ms. Napier.
Good morning, Lee Napier, Director of Community Development, speaking on the next agenda item, which is Resolution 18-134. And this resolution amends the fee schedule passed by the Board of County Commissioners at the end of 2017. What this resolution will do in its amendment is to include the state mandated well fee related to the Hearst fix. It also, some Scrivener errors were identified and then corrected some minor clarifications. There was inconsistency, you might call it Scrivener's errors between fees. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Danette York.
Morning.
Lewis County Public Health and Social Services Director. I'm speaking to the next resolution, 18-135. This is authorizing the employment of a casual community outreach worker senior for the Public Health and Social Services Department, and this is to pay them above the extra help grade. I was looking at the screen because I believe that the old resolution is up there. It has been corrected because we originally wrote the resolution for $20 an hour, but it helps with payroll if we put it on a step and grade that is already on the pay scale. So it should be $20.37, which is grade 18, step B. This is for an individual who will be working 24 hours a week for 12 weeks to do a specific project on tobacco, e-vaping, and marijuana prevention in youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Eisenberg from the County Prosecutor's Office. I'm here today to talk about Resolution number 18-136, which is a clarification of the filing procedure for candidates for freeholder. As you remember, on April 2nd, this body passed the nominating procedure for freeholders, and it set a filing fee of $50 for candidates who wish to seek office. That procedure doesn't allow for write-in candidacy, but it doesn't speak to what happens if someone is unable to pay the $50 filing fee because they lack funds to pay. In other words, if they are indigent. I was contacted shortly after the public hearing by a concerned citizen who pointed out that not having any means to get out from under that filing fee was unconstitutional. And after researching the issue, I determined that he was right. It is unconstitutional. Specifically, there's a case that he cited called Lubin v. Panish, which says that you have to have a mechanism for someone who, because of poverty, is unable to pay a filing fee to still be able to get on the ballot, because it's that important that someone be able to run for political office if they wish to do so. So the procedure you have before you today would allow someone who is unable to pay the filing fee to come into the auditor's office to pay whatever smaller portion of the filing fee, if any, that they could pay, and then to sign a declaration under oath that they weren't unable to pay the rest. And if they did those things and otherwise complied with the nomination procedure, then they would be able to get on the ballot even though they weren't able to pay the filing fee. This addition to the resolution that you previously passed doesn't change really anything about the prior procedure. You've adopted that and that is in effect. This just supplements that to make sure that there is a way for people to get on the ballot and to make sure that what we've done in Lewis County remains legal and constitutional. So thank you. Any questions?
I'll ask a question I asked when we were discussing this last week. I said, if somebody put in a public disclosure request and wanted to know who were the ones who filed for indigent, not indigent defense, but for being indigent, would that information be releasable?
I believe it would be. It's part of the candidate filing in this circumstance, and so it would, that most of the information surrounding that is public, and I believe this would be as well. It also could be, I mean, frankly, financial information about candidates for public office is often a topic of political conversation in the campaign itself, and so that wouldn't be that new. Thank you.
And tomorrow night, where will we be?
In Packwood. Is it at the
Packwood Improvement Club, I believe. Community Center?
Community Center, right. So we'll be, the prosecutor's office is going to be holding its 5th and final forum, final at least for now in terms of what we scheduled, about the freeholder process and the charter process at 6 o'clock in the Packwood Improvement Center, and it'll last as long as people have questions. In Morton, we had a very lively debate and presentation that lasted, I think, longer than 2 hours. Mm-hmm. It may not be quite that long, and you're welcome to come and go. You don't have to stay for the whole thing.
Yes. I think we had 4 in Winlock and 9 at Twin City Senior Center, 4 in PL, and then we had 19 in Morton. This is interesting. Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
I was just shown the paperwork we had regarding the EDC, and our grant agreement between EDC and Lewis County has $165,000, whereas our resolution had $160,000. So I think the source document is $165,000.
So do we need to make a...
Beg your pardon?
Mr. Eisenberg?
I'm happy to discuss that point if you'd like some help on
please.
that.
Perfect.
So if you wish to get the resolution corrected, you have a couple of options. One of them is that you may table that matter until the next meeting a week from now and substitute a corrected resolution. Well, you could also make the change now if you are comfortable with making the change now based on the record you have before you. And if you wish to do that, it would require a motion to amend the amount in the resolution. I actually don't have a copy in front of me, which would be helpful. I believe that, so the amount of $160,000 is mentioned twice in the resolution. It's mentioned in the first, it's mentioned in the first recital or whereas clause, and then it's also mentioned again in the text of the resolution below. So the motion would be a motion to amend each mention of the number $160,000 to be $165,000 to conform with the application and the grant agreement. I'm noting that the grant agreement does say $165,000.
Okay.
So it appears to be the case that this is just a typing error.
Okay. But accept the motion?
I will make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend each mention of $160,000 in the resolution, move that to $165,000 to conform with the application and the grant agreement. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Approval of the amendment. Thank you.
And
any other comments?
Yes, Madam Chairman. Speaking of correcting typos, in the proposed resolution 18-136 regarding freeholders, in the second to last recital, the original copy that you have before you and that was published to the community says, whereas federal constitution law provides, etc. That's a typo. It should read federal constitutional law. And so if your honors wish to correct that, which I recommend that you do, the motion would be a motion to correct the word constitution in that resolution so that it reads constitutional, and then pass that. I have presented a copy of the corrected resolution to Clerk Callum if you wish to do that. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to, on the sixth whereas, I believe, move the word, change the word from constitution to constitutional. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That amendment has been approved. So back to the deliberation motion. It's moved and seconded to approve resolution 18-130 through 136. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good of the order.
I don't
You go.
have anything today. Busy weekend.
Yeah.
36 degrees and snowing this morning at my house, but we're waiting for the sunshine.
We were at the Packwood, or Destination Packwood event on Saturday night. Gary and I both were, and I was going to toss that to you, Commissioner, since it's your district, and there was a number of things that they talked about. So,
CJ, why don't you come on up and share some of your thoughts? You know, we usually do all the talking, so it'd be nice to have
a fresh voice.
Have a fresh voice that lives it and breathes it every day.
Why, thank you, Commissioner Stamper. My name is CJ Nair. I'm from Packwood, Washington, and we did have our second quarter meeting Saturday night in Packwood, and we had Sheriff Snaza gave a presentation regarding the sheriff's substation and some options for our Memorial Day flea market coming up as far as coverage goes. And Commissioner Jackson gave us some updates on the Twin Transit project. And Commissioner Stamper also gave us update on District 3. We talked a lot about our projects. We're going full force with everything. Our Oktoberfest is our biggest event and most successful, and planning for 1,500 people this year. Kind of scares me.
And what was it last year?
It was, well, we planned for 500 and we had 913. Yeah. So just a really good time of fellowship with our potluck and talking about different county-wide projects, et cetera, going on, and lots of business folks there. I think there was probably about 50 people there or so from the community.
That was very good. Very well attended on whether it be the Destination Packwood or the business community. Sometimes they have a tendency to, spill over because they're just involved in all of them are involved with all aspects of it. So, and also the food was very good too. They have a potluck.
Who made the chicken pot pie?
That was Lee and Jan Gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
it was good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you.
I attended the Fox Theater annual meeting, and it was at O'Blarney's because the Fox Theater is under construction, and it was amazing to see how many people came out. It's probably the biggest group we've had, and I think with the influx of dollars from the federal or from the state legislature, that it's really encouraging people. When you look at it, it could be the biggest theater between Portland and Tacoma with 100,000 seats. So, did you want to say something, Bob? Sure.
So I'm Bob Gunther. I live at 376 State Route 508 here in Chehalis. I just wanted to mention that Lewis County is sitting right in the middle of a real opportunity. When we have both major universities in the state of Washington very, very interested in what we're doing in Lewis County as far as the environment goes, and coming to the Centralia College Center of Excellence for Clean Energy, we're sitting in the hub of something that could really be positive for the entire state of Washington. And I just want you to stay tuned when the University of Washington and Washington State University pays attention to us. Be aware that they really care about us.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I also attended a fundraiser in Morton. They're wanting to move their visitor bureau over to the park, and I think everybody in Morton showed up to that. It was really wonderful when you go out to these smaller communities and everybody gets in there and works hard together. So
that's sometimes our challenges because they were both events were at the same time. You can't be at two, so you have to we send people we all represent, so.
Yes, yes. Okay, anything else? Press conference. Any questions from the press? Any other? Okay.
With no further business, I move to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for coming.